Welcome, everyone, to another enlightening Ascension Wisdom Conversations. It is brought to you by Galactic Ascension Academy at SheilaTillich.com. Yes, this is the time to awaken and live your soul's mastery. I am a Galactic grandmother, Sheila Tillich, and I invite you to relax and enjoy this time together as we discover our Ascension Wisdom Mastery. As souls, we have entered a higher dimensional reality as humans on planet Earth. This is the new energy consciousness. It has awakened our multidimensional spiritual DNA abilities, which are given to us by our galactic ancestors. Join me, dear ones, as we live at our soul's full potential, live in our wisdom mastery in this ascension time. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ascension Wisdom. And I am so glad that you're here today. And I have a very special guest with me. Her name is Gabrielle Spencer. Hi, Gabrielle. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. I'm excited that you're here with us.
That's right. Absolutely. So let me tell you just a little bit about Gabrielle. And she is a success strategist and quantum transformative healer. She specialized in the transformative art of quantum healing for the emotional, heart, mind, and soul aspects of an individual to guide and support you in achieving your divine alignment, enabling you to create unparalleled success and abundance in all areas of your life. I'm going to leave it at that. There's a lot more, but we're going to get into that. So, Gabrielle, welcome, welcome. And I'm very excited because we are on the same path. Beautiful light workers, changing the world one heart at a time through
That's
this
right.
beautiful consciousness field that we have now. And my listeners, I actually met Gabrielle just a few weeks ago when we had the Milton hurricane down in Florida, where myself and many of the people that I have in my community were putting wonderful frequency out there to help with everything that was coming in, all the changes with actually Milton, and of course, the hurricane that came right before that. And we are all united as light workers. And I felt the calling. I was led to Gabrielle, and that's how I met her. And so, absolutely, immediately, I wanted to do a video with her. So this is about Ascension Wisdom. Who are we? And why are we here? And what is this ascension all about? The higher frequency. So I'm going to let Gabrielle go ahead and you can share a little bit about yourself. We started getting into about the convergence, about this higher frequency, and we are all there. We're all there. And I started asking Gabrielle a little bit about how it all started, and we said, we need to tape this. So that's what we're going to do. So, Gabrielle, I'm going to let you go ahead and kind of, we can talk about the change that's here. I mean, the frequency that's here, that I absolutely love it. I love this time of humanity, that we are so gifted and blessed to be able to be here at this time, to be the light workers, to show the
Mhm.
way, to actually make a difference in humanity. So I'm going to let you go ahead and continue from there. Your beautiful story that you started telling me.
Okay, we'll try to stay on track. All right,
This is going to be a conversation, just back and forth, like
it'll
two
be fun.
sisters sitting, having a glass of wine or whatever, and just sitting and talking back and forth about what it means to us. Because I get very excited when I talk to somebody that's on my caliber, but somebody that's living their life just like me.
Yes. Well, I always start with people go, introduce yourself. And I lately have just go, I'm just a regular chick. This is
Yeah.
the thing. Here's what everybody really needs to know. We're all light leaders. We're going to all move past light workers because every one of us is integral to the whole. Like we need every one of us. I did say during the Milton meditation that I held that we are no longer in the timing where we're so concerned with waking up people. that we're already enough. There's already enough of us. That's the information that I've been given, and I believe it wholeheartedly. But what it means is that every one of us has to own it. What is our purpose? Our purpose is to frickin' own it. That's it.
Yeah.
Show up. That's your purpose. And this is the hardest part because we do all live a regular life. I certainly do. I tell everybody, I'm a mortgage underwriter by day, and then I do my spiritual and healing and coaching work, helping people to really step into their full inner connection from their high heart through their highest self to the highest frequency of God. This is where we obtain the universal knowledge that we need, the coding from other timelines. We've used words in the past like the ancients, from Atlantis. This is an Atlantis replay, literally what we're going through. And for all of us, that's a really big deal because we're old. We've all been not just here on this planet for a while, but that we've incarnated in this 26,000 year cycle many, many times. So we're ready, A, to get off the rock, right? The next piece of it is that we are very strongly understand that we're coming to the precipice of why we are here now, right? And so if all of us can resonate with, okay, we're here to step into our full knowing of who we are, and we're joining our light together to obtain the highest frequency possible. Because my understanding is that it is not a one-man job. We cannot obtain that highest frequency unless we're all working together, because then we rise up together and we can be higher together than separately, right? So I am a light leader who is working to assist to get the message out that actually the way out of this 3D matrix and out of the lower mass consciousness frequency of struggle, pain, trauma, and being subject to the levels of corruption and evil that have taken over this 3D existence is that we have to raise our frequency. And so your work, my work, is all about helping people to heal those lower bandwidths of frequency. And that's how I always see things when given the opportunity to look at people's energy and their energy field, is to see, where they are. And I do feel that a lot of us are literally straddling this 3D thing and this higher thing, and we're like waiting for like what is the wave that's going to push us over. We're calling it the harmonic convergence, but to be a harmonic convergence, we have to all be at a high enough frequency in order for the convergence to make it over the precipice, and then there we are. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. I come from a medical background, and when I started to awaken, it was about 40 years ago, but I wanted scientific evidence, and I found out about a harmonic convergence, back in 1987, and when we all started this shift, and what it actually means for in our cellular body. What does this mean? How are we changing? How can we speed this up or be more enduring and helpful for other people? And, my whole journey has been about my own self-healing, about really standing in the light. What did I come here to do? And a lot of what I do is help others transform and heal and actually look at their life in the 3D world and really to stand in their power.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this harmonic convergence is the energy that's out there, and all of us that are doing this work is so instrumental, and especially at this time of humanity. What is happening? The frequency is so powerful, it's palpable, and understanding scientifically that 26-year time period, which you started talking about, understanding that we have done this many times before.
Yes, we have.
We have done this so many times before, and we come back to do it again, to really help, on a galactic realm, the cosmic connection, why are we are here. So yeah, it's instrumental. I like how you talked about we're all in this together. We're all part of the pieces. And what I try to teach is that it's all part of, the great big web, the toroid field, the web of frequency that is here. And, some it takes a little bit longer to wake up, and some of us are right there. And each and every single one of us are a beautiful conduit to be able to touch the lives of everyone else. Scientifically, the DNA, what is awakened in the DNA? Why did it awaken? The ability that we already had in there and the calling of us. And, we talked a little bit about Mother Mary and our Catholic roots. So I also was brought up Catholic, yes, coming from upstate New York. And I actually am hard of hearing. I wear hearing aids. And I have always been able to see and hear angels from day one. And I come from a big family of 8 kids, and I was number 6. And I couldn't hear people, but I could hear the angels. And then when I was in Catholic schools, I was told by the nuns that, it was blasphemy, that I could only have a guardian angel, that I couldn't talk to them. So I was shamed and guilted. And so I have that. But, Mary has always been close with me. Mary was always there. You know, when the nuns were talking to me, I could see Mary in the background.
Wow.
See her in the background, kind of like hugging me, and like, and that's what I found out my role as a galactic grandmother, and the wisdom that I have now to be able to have people feel that love in this energy that we have, and the consciousness that is here now is allowing us to do that. Don't you see the change a lot in the last 5 or 6 years? But especially
Oh,
since 2012. Since 2012.
yeah. It's been really interesting. I think in 2018, I was shown an hourglass. Everybody knows I'm the sand in the hourglass, right? And I was shown this idea like, okay, it opened to a cylinder, so a straight cylinder, right? And this was allowing all of us to freely basically reach up, right, to the higher frequencies and get information. And then I was shown that it was going to close again and that it was going to actually separate, like literally as if you'd cut the glass in half. So there was no more middle. And I understood that this meant that the people who chose not to raise their frequency, not to move into this ascension portal that is basically being provided for us,
Hmm.
that they would stay at that lower level 3D and below. And those who were above that, right, that we would then be moving into a higher frequency.
Hmm.
And I remember I was on a summit actually when it was shown to me and I explained it. And I was asked by the host, when do you think it'll be? And I said, there's not an answer for that right now. I just know that this is where we are. This is the time we're approaching. So that was at 2018. So it's just like you said, like, what is that, 5 or 6 years ago? So 6 years ago. So we know now we're now crested over that opening. We're no longer that wide open cylinder. And I think we can all agree that we're very much definitely coming to that. It's going to be closing at some point in the near future. So when, we don't know, it doesn't matter. What we do know is in order for that harmonic convergence to happen, then we have to all be moving together as one into this higher frequency and healing whatever would keep you at a lower frequency or dipping back down into the lower frequency. So every time things happen in our physical world that are meant to disrupt us from holding the higher frequency, that is ever more important for us to band together as a community. We're no longer a man of one. We all are being called to work together, as you and I were talking about, I look at what happened with Milton and that so many of us around the world all began working on the same thing, which was to dissipate it, dissolve it, get it to retreat as quickly as possible. And it was amazing how it actually came in. They were predicting, it was a level 4, a level 5. It's going to completely decimate Tampa, which I live right outside of Tampa. So I don't live far enough that the waves aren't going to get me. But when you're looking at a category 4 or 5, just for people who don't live in Florida,
Mhm.
most of our homes, especially the new build homes, they're built to withstand a 3.5 hurricane. Okay, so the windows, etc., everything's supposed to be able to withstand it. And so you're thinking, okay, I'm good at a 3.5, but 5, you know, okay, that's going to take a lot of faith. And what was so fascinating is actually with that meditation and the golden dome that the people created that were there. Me and my children put it over our home and over our neighborhood and over our area and over Florida. And what
Yeah,
was fascinating is that my neighborhood, it's only 125 houses in this enclave. It was as if we were in a totally different world.
yes.
Like we only lost electricity. We had no damage, no flooding. We had wind. It was whistling. I mean, we had rain and it flooded. So the way the builder did our neighborhood, it literally looked like our neighborhood was in a moat. It was all the ringed with water, but none of it came in to our houses. And I thought, that's
That's
the
right.
power. That's the power. But more importantly, Florida on a larger scale, right? So it came in at a 3. It did not come in at a 4 or a 5. And the way it came in and at the degree it came in, it actually did the least amount of damage. I mean, every meteorologist was completely shocked. And Tampa, instead of flooding from the surge that they predicted, they had a reverse surge, which meant all the water got sucked out of the bay. Is that crazy? Everybody's like, I didn't even know that was a thing. So
Yeah, but the
I'm just,
power of
but
that dome.
this is our power. And that's the point of telling this story, is that when we are all focused. And so I feel like it's really important for us to take it a step further. Instead of us being in reaction to chaos, that we should be using our collective energy and light and our ability to access this higher frequency of light to begin moving us faster into the harmonic convergence. That we should move ourselves and see that as our goal. Like we are moving, all of us who are awake, who are open to God's light, to begin seeing ourselves tipping that. I don't know why, but it's like I'm seeing a seesaw, like when we were all kids, right?
Yeah, right.
Tipping that over so that we're then in this higher frequency and that we are taking as many with us as possible.
Absolutely. I feel the same way. And in my realm and the people that I deal with, I meet new people every single day that they're attracted to my light. I was in my pool class this morning and one girl come up to me and she goes, "I just love your energy." She didn't know what I do or anything like that. And she goes, "I'm so attracted to it. I just want to talk to you." And I says, "Well, that's what it's about." And I says, "And you have that energy too." Many of us are so enthralled with what's going on around us, not realizing the whole impact that we can make our own energy centers and how we project that out to people. And when you talked about reaction, absolutely, it's not about, for me, it's not about reacting. It is about actually imprinting the energy so other people are more comfortable. They're not as angry, and so they're more mindful of going with inside. That's what I like to do, is try to help people understand. And with this energy that's changing, I I seen the transmissions or the transformation of people from 12 to 19 when the energy portals really started opening up and the consciousness levels started connecting together, the three consciousness levels. And when I started talking about the actual web, the connection of all of us in the consciousness grid and the actual collective, that there were so many of us light workers that were praying for Milton and also Helena, and
Right.
everything that happened. But it is so powerful that this 3D reality is in the 4D, where there's so many of us in that mindset, the higher consciousness, and understanding that no matter what happens in your life, you can be in that higher grid of consciousness, the higher collective, of humanity, and come from the higher vibration, the higher collective vibration.
Yes, you and I teach the same thing. I mean, as I always tell people, shit hits the fan. It does. That's because we are still here, right? We still live and I'm still paying for electricity and
It's our evolution, right?
right, I still have to go to the store to get food and, various things of this nature. So it is all about being at that higher frequency because your reaction is not the same. So for my
Exactly.
own personal story, uh, I ended my 22-year marriage in the fall of 23 and finally decided, okay, it's time. I've done enough and all that I can do. And now it's time to move on. And that was a very difficult decision. As most people know, it's not easy to end a marriage, even if it's not as it should have been, right? Or what it could have been, what have you.
Mhm.
But within 10 weeks of that, I was diagnosed with breast cancer in my left breast. So for everybody who's paying attention to emotions and what that means to have cancer in your left breast, it specifically relates to
For the heart.
your spouse, your heartbreak, your spouse, and your environment. And so by that time, I had a very toxic environment. We'd had a very toxic environment and a very toxic marriage, actually. And so all the repression, because I was always like, okay, I'm putting that over here and I'm dealing with the children and I'm doing my work and I'm doing my path and I'm at my job and I'm just letting that stay over there. And so that's how I think we got even as far as we did, because I just was like, okay, we're going to seal you off over here and we're going to do our own thing over here. And that was still very stressful. So what was fascinating to me was I had just finished a 21-day gratitude program that I had put on, and it was phenomenal, and it had changed me because you and I both know every time we offer a course or what have you, we're bringing in the information pretty much live. Like I don't plan anything. I mean, we might have a title for the day, but I have no idea what the channeling is going to be, what the activations going to be. I just show up and that's my job. I show up and, the higher beings of light channel in what it is that the group is needing. So anyway, it was really fascinating. But more importantly to me, what happened was when I was given this news, my reaction did not fit the textbook of most people's reaction to finding out that they had cancer. My reaction was, okay, that's fine. I have time. It's all about me now. I'm going to heal myself. I'm going to move through this with ease and grace. I didn't have that, uh, oh my goodness, right? Shit just hit the fan. This is really bad. You know what I mean? None of that noise from the lower frequencies,
Hmm.
fear, or any of it. And I
Hmm.
was so grateful because it didn't even dawn on me for like 2 weeks that that was my reaction. That's how natural it becomes
Exactly.
for you, right? And it
Yeah.
was a friend of mine who pointed it out to me. She's like, Gabrielle, wow, you're living your course. And I was like, this is what we're talking about is all of us. It's not about the words. It's about what is inside and what is going on with your connection that you are actually mirroring from inside out versus the outside in, so that no matter what's happening around us, we're actually influencing it. So it's been a very interesting journey for me. I'm still on it. And so when people are like, wow, I still have active breast cancer, although it is dissolving every day. And I work with Mother Mary a lot on healing the cancer. And I'm doing it all, let's say, not using standard of care. But everybody's like, oh my God, you look amazing. You glow and all of these things. Yes, because I know, I know there were many lessons for me, but mostly it had to do with self-love. It had to do with actually honoring the divinity within myself.
Exactly.
And that was my biggest aha, which
Hmm.
I didn't even get that, guys, for like 6 months, just so you know. Just so you feel better. Like it doesn't happen always like this, right? But it did come to me. And through this and in sharing, it gives hope to people because they
Exactly.
realize that we're not in this world. We're observing what is happening, and we are affected by the field. I look at this as, my great eye opener for that. You know what? You still have things that you need to heal within your heart and your liver and various other places that emotions come in. And it's made me not change my teaching or my work because I was always about healing the heart. But now it's more to me about emotions, and that emotions are, they are or can be the toxicity in your life. Whatever is creating that emotional toxicity is what you have to address. And
Exactly.
then it doesn't mean that we're not on our way. It just means that we then open up more and more our high heart, which is limitless. It doesn't have, like, I've had people say to me, and I'm sure you've heard this too in your work, well, I've already opened my high heart. It's like, yes, and you will continually expand it. There's never like an end, right?
Yeah.
So it's fascinating all that we come through, but that when we are doing it at the highest frequency, it is honestly so much more joyous and with peace and prosperity, because you're not limiting yourself.
Exactly. When we started talking, before we started recording, I was telling you about being the only one left in my family out of 10. All right. And today, I was talking with somebody about that. And last year, I had experienced in 23, three family deaths within 3 month
Oh,
period. All right.
oh, wow.
And yep, and it was my last sibling. It was my sister-in-law in January, and then in March, my sister. And then at the end of April, my son's partner, who is the mother of one of his children. And it was all within a 3 month period. And, when we live this life, we go through all of life experiences, the trauma, the deaths, how we deal with them, just like with you with the cancer. And with me, a lot of the autoimmune stuff that has happened in the last 5, 6 years, which I didn't go down gracefully. Being an avid walker and exerciser for so many years and all of a sudden not being able to move like I did before was really challenging for me.
Yeah.
When the deaths started coming, it was like I have experienced this my whole life. And it's like it is about the trauma that's stuck inside, how you relate to it, and physically, emotionally, mentally, of course, spiritually, how it comes out, but also we as humans, you know, our consciousness is very high, and how we think about it. Like I loved how you talked about it's not a traditional way of thinking, I have breast cancer in my left breast, but understanding it from the heart part the failed marriage and all the stuff that, the pain in your heart, but also knowing that you have to survive, and you have to continue on, but living who you are, you
This
know?
experience has changed so much, but most importantly, it has been about a reclamation of self and bringing back my own divine essence. And so, for a lot of us, especially in the healing world, we used to talk about aspects of your soul that you have left behind in other existences. And I'm going to, there's two things I want to talk about. So I now think of it as divine essence, that we have our own divine essence within us, and this expands the more that we raise our frequency. We embody more of our own divine essence.
Hmm.
This has become very, very clear to me as I've been in my process of healing and raising my frequency at the same time. And because I do know, and I do believe that at a certain frequency, regardless of whatever protocols I'm doing, the cancer will be unable to survive. And I know this. So for me, it's part of the cancer healing regimen as well, is that I have to raise my frequency. And as I'm doing that, that will also create that whole environment within my programming and the grid structures that we're connected to, the Christ consciousness grid being 1,000+ hertz.
Exactly.
There's a whole reason that we're working, all of us, to move ahead, because it's not just about living in a 5D existence. It's about leaving behind the maladies of the 3D
Exactly.
that come with it, right? And so, you had asked me a question about how did I learn about the harmonic convergence? And I had told you that back in about, I want to say it was 2010. I'm going to just choose that date. It was 2009, 2010, around there. And I had begun working with clients in 2008, even though I had awakened myself in 1998. So it took me a long time. I really fought. Um, I'll tell everybody, I really did not want to be a healer again. I did not want to see. I did not want to hear. I did not want to know. I just wanted to be regular. That's it. I just wanted to work a corporate job, have my kids, that was all. And even so, I mean, I was spiritual and I had a happy balance, according to me, of my spiritual is over here and my regular life is over here, and I'm keeping them completely separate. And I did that for a very long time, just so everybody knows, about 7 years. Anyway, then I decided when my whole real world collapsed that, and at that time, I had a $1.4 million house in Scottsdale, Arizona. I had, everything. I had two beautiful daughters, two little babies, and, my husband, and life was good. And, we lived a great life. I worked very hard, but we had a great life. And then the mortgage crisis hit, and I happened to be in mortgage. So I lost my home. And, we're like, for years, like, you're like, how can I be number one in the country and making all of this money hand over fist every month? And suddenly you can't even find a job. Like, literally, I could go work at Dairy Queen, pretty much. That was it. So it was really a hard, hard time. And everybody who knew me in the spiritual world was like, Gabrielle, this had to close in order to wake you up so that you would move into this aspect of yourself. And I still resisted for 18 months. And I share that because I just want people to understand it's not like we are all going, yeah, I totally wanted to go down this road. Like, no, we all went in some way, shape, or form, had a little bit of trouble, deciding we were going to be on this path and making that choice. However, while I was finally moving down this road, I was working on a client, and it would be very taxing on me at that time to retrieve an aspect of their soul from a hell realm. So this would require everybody to understand that there's more than one hell realm, right? Just like there's more than one heaven realm, that there are many dimensions of many things, right? And so, I mean, I don't know why they're just back to, and remember Dante's 9 levels of hell. So just kind of giving it to you guys. It's out there. It's so amazing to me how the information is always out there, but it's always cloaked in something else, right? Anyway, so at that time, in order for me to help retrieve a person's soul aspect from a hell realm would be exhausting. And it would take an hour. I mean, it would take a long time. I guess it's not that long, but it felt like it, but it would wipe me out. And, but I learned some very amazing things. One was that, especially as people of the light, often, even when we were angels or some other higher vibrational being, because of our goodness, we were often tricked. And this was a really big thing for me for a long time. I had to work through a lot of things where I was tricked and betrayed, kind of went together, right? And so I learned that we could be imprisoned in hell, not because we belong there, but because the demon had taken us there, had tricked us because we were trying to be good, and then we're captured. And at that point in time, your tool of power, like your greatest gift in that incarnation, could be taken from you. So in this particular incarnation, I was doing this for myself. After I learned about doing it for my client and I got the information, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so going to check that for me, right? And so I did, right? And I was shown, yes, you were an angel in that incarnation, and my wings had been sawed off. Now, how many of us know that you have had your wings are missing, right? Um, or they're not working. You might have gotten them back, but they don't actually function. So in this work, I learned that my wings needed to be reclaimed, and my tool of power was a harp. And back then, I was very dry, sarcastic. And I was like, great, I have a harp as a tool of power. That's super awesome. It's like, what am I going to do with a harp, people? Um, so just so you know, it was 10 years before I understood what to do with this harp and why it was important. And it was because part of my gifts is to heal or replace or provide the harmonic chain that a person needs to be at that higher frequency. So your harmonic coding becomes corrupted, just like everything else. You can have pieces missing. You can have pieces that just were never there. They aren't bridged. They're just like, like think of a bridge that's missing, missing a piece in the middle. So that's what this beautiful harp was for, was actually to provide the harmonic coding for people. So what's interesting about all of this is that through all of our experiences, we learn and are shown so much that we are not going to find in a book, because this is universal knowledge. And you only get to have it when you've reached a higher frequency. So even though I was given back my harp, I wasn't able to use it until my frequency was high enough to even understand what it was for, and that I could access the ability to use it. And so all of us are kind of running around in various states of awareness and awake, and your frequency, and you have gifts. I used to say, again, back when I was sarcastic, not anymore. Um, back in the day, we would go on spiritual journeys because that's what we all were doing 20, 30 years ago, right? Around the world. And I went around the world too, and went to amazing spiritual sites and all of that. And I remember in this channeling that was being given, it was like, well, for you all being here, you're going to get more gifts. And I remember saying to my friend who was next to me, I was like, really, they can just keep these gifts because every time I get one, I think it just gets worse. I just like don't anymore. And so about 10 years later again, um, I was shown something when I was working on a client and I was like, oh, Gabrielle, just apologize. You're sorry. Like, I'm sorry I was such a smart ass because wow, if only I'd understood
Yeah, but
properly.
wasn't that what's part of what you needed to learn though? You needed to go through that.
Evidently. So I'm going to short circuit it all for you. Okay. It's not a joke. It's real. Okay. So the better question in your meditation is, you know, provide me the gift and the knowledge and wisdom to access it and use it because I was not that smart back then. So there's a little tidbit for you just to help you move along on this frequency that we're all working to obtain, which now in our harmonic convergence, for a long time, we were all talking about hitting 500, which was love, right? And now we're working towards the 700. Um, and that's where we're moving everybody is in that direction. So we're getting there slowly but surely.
We absolutely are. We absolutely are. I
Yeah.
love I love to hear other people's experiences and how they, transformed, into this Christ consciousness, this higher consciousness area of living and
Right.
identifying themselves. And it's we're all our body has this etheric field, and so much of the physical form is in the etheric field, but really is our divineness is within the spiritual core of why we came here in this lifetime and the lessons that we learn. And I loved you were talking about that and about your harp and your wings and how you related that story. I have something similar to that, but it's a whole different area of things that no longer served me, my things that limited me, and the things that I was programmed to believe, and I had to go and find my own truth for what it was for. Why am I here? And I always felt like the black sheep, but really I wasn't. I was the white sheep.
Right.
I was the white sheep that was actually living my divineness and going out and finding that, and being the only one that's left now. I have a lot of communication with them. I'm closer to my family in
Oh,
spirit than I
right.
was in the family life, in the physical realm. And I always know that, I always knew I was going to be the last one standing, literally, literally,
That's
but
amazing.
also the influences that they have, and that this was exactly what I was here to do, to live the life that I did and to affect and help other people in this realm of ascension, and as a galactic grandmother, rebirthing humanity, in other words, helping other people go through the darkness of the soul and what you were talking about, the devil realm and how you interpreted it and with the sarcasm and then looking back at yourself now, it's like how far you've come, each and every
Yeah.
one.
Everybody, and that's it. And the more of us who seek, it's like I said, every time I work on a client, their highest self, their highest soul self provides information that I don't have access to until I'm tapping into somebody else's Akashic records, what their soul has to share that's needed in order to help them to heal.
Mhm.
And so this work is so much more than just healing your traumas, because then, for people like you and I, we take that information and we're able to use it for other people to help free them, even if their soul wasn't at the level to be healed. And so then we're again leapfrogging. And that's what we've been doing, right? For quite a while now. We're all leapfrogging faster and faster and moving along. And I'm so excited about this younger generation.
Mm.
I've had the opportunity to work on, the crystals. Now, we talked about the crystal children forever, that they were coming, and there was a time that I was, again, a little bit skeptical, like, where are they? Where are they? Because we need to be relieved at some point. We need we
They're
need
there.
some, well, here's what's fascinating about them. Yeah, so I've gotten to work on several of them now. And what's so amazing is how fast they leapfrog, how fast they just let go of all the old paradigm, the old grid work, the old protocols, all of it. And they're able to literally just step into who they really are. Like, it's amazing. So I'm so excited. So anybody who is listening and okay, I'm a crystal child, the great news is it's not as so much chopping wood and carrying water as it was for people who woke up, 20, 30, 40 years ago. And you can move through right into your embodiment of true grace so much quicker. And so I'm excited to see how this convergence continues to help all of us move into that same place, because we're all doing it. They just get to do it faster. So
Yeah.
lucky you guys.
Yeah, but it's wonderful the work that we're doing ourselves. So when we come back the next time, we don't have to start over again. So this energy and this frequency now that we have is totally different. The karma, we don't have to bring that karma with us. But those kids or the young ones or the younger generation is they came in that way. They came in with a higher frequency. They know they're living their divineness. They are ready to do the work. And we, the ones before, preparing this energy for them to be able to do that. The next year, what I've been shown and shared is so profound, and the work we've been doing the last 4 years, especially since COVID, the awakening of people that are wakening up to finally waking up that there's more to life than what we've been living, and now the young ones are taking that on. The ones that are coming into my life are the same thing. No coincidences how you meet them. They just walk in and they resonate with you. They feel it, they know it, and the knowledge that's within their field, the knowledge is profound, profound. So that's why I get very joyful, because the next couple years, especially with the cosmic and more the galactic frequency opening up and actually acknowledging it, the helpers that we have out there. Many of us come from the spirit realm with the angels and our connection that way. Well, there's a lot more to the story that we're still learning,
Right.
and when you said this is like the new Atlantis, absolutely, life on Earth has started many, many, many times. And we're at a time that is so profound with the generations to come, and they're here now.
I
They're
feel
here.
like our job, honestly, now is to build the community of light, that we
Oh,
all
absolutely.
must truly create that, so that uh, we are able to create the harmonic convergence and not have that disrupted, because that's how Atlantis fell. And this is something I talk about often because I have such strong feelings about it, because I went through Atlantis, the final sinking, and I know very deep in myself what caused it, because I was on the side of light, but I ended up drowning. But more to the point, it was because, as leaders of light, each one of us, we needed to band together and let our own little pet projects and how we wanted to use our light and our abilities go and rise above them, realizing that if we create the harmonic convergence, you can still have whatever's important to you, and actually may not even matter once we hit that harmonic convergence. But that the most important part is that we have to work together with our energy. And so
Right.
if we all focus on this, then we will not have a repeat of what happened in Atlantis, which is where the powers that be were able to successfully disrupt us from
Hmm.
creating the harmonic convergence then, because that was the same goal. So when we've all been talking about what's our purpose for a gazillion years now, and for those who've channeled, uh, it was very obvious to me a long time ago, although people didn't believe it because we got caught up in the 3D idea that it had to do with a job. My purpose is a job, or it's going to fulfill me, um, through, whatever it is, making money, or it's something I'm supposed to be doing. But the doing, I used to say, we're a beacon of light, each and every one of us, and that is what you're doing. And it's the same. That's exactly where we are. Each one of us must be that beacon of light. Like you said, people will come up to you. We must be radiating out the frequency of light at the highest that we can, no matter where we are. And what happens when we do radiate out light with intention that we are, like it, yes, it happens naturally, but there's something else that happens with intention. You create a golden Merkaba around yourself with this light, which then protects you in so many unforeseen ways. And we all know that there's a lot going on in the atmosphere and in the environment, frequency wise, to disrupt our frequency, to make us sick, to make us um, have anxiety or depression. I mean, there's a lot of counter frequencies that are happening. So when we do these things with intention, you create the Merkaba so that you become impervious, which means that it's not able to get through your light to affect your physical self. So the other part of the breast cancer really awakened me to the difference between my physical body
Hmm.
and my energetic body, because I was always very conscious of my energetic body and that I was raising the frequency of myself, right? And when I um, started really honing in on the healing of my physical body, I realized that there was separation between my physical body and my energetic bodies, my seven causal bodies. Like we were not in unison. And so my physical body was actually resonating at a frequency of 100, which is fear. Now, I told everybody we're moving to 700, which is enlightenment. So, what's fascinating is that's a huge gap. So, how did I get cancer? Because my physical body I was not bringing it with me in health or in what is my physical body holding? Because when we reincarnate, we bring with us, and we hold in our liver and in our physical heart and in our gut, we hold a lot of things from not just our current existence, but from other existences as well. So we have to address the physical self and make sure that your physical self is riding along with you into this higher frequency as well, because we're taking these bodies with us, people.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
I know it's not like Left Behind the movie where everybody gets to leave their clothes and everything behind and they just disappear,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Well, there's different interpretations of it too. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing seeing everybody's interpretation of what's happening and the energy that's coming through. And what I do know is that it's getting better. I do know it's getting better. And we just have to stay in the light and just be that light,
Yes.
be that
That's,
beacon.
you have to be the beacon. You have to keep you have to always, the words I'm using now is my highest frequency alignment.
That's
So,
nice.
we went from highest and best good to now I'm seeking every day to be at my highest frequency alignment, because that's, I guess, like if we have to shoot through the eye of the needle, you want to be
Hmm.
in alignment with that, whatever
Hmm.
that is for you. So
Absolutely.
we're all getting there and we're helping one another do it. And it's exciting because you can see the difference that we make. And,
Absolutely.
like we said, just the Milton example was a really big one where you
Hmm.
go, you know what? We make a difference. And that's what we need to remember. We have the power.
That's right. The power is within. That's great. Well, this has been great, Gabriel. Of course, I love your name.
I
Okay.
know my mother, being a good Catholic, um,
Well, my,
back
yeah,
then, nobody was named Gabrielle, but they are now. We have a lot of us running around. It's so fun. Because when I was little, right, you could call my name and nobody else would turn around. So I'm in stores now and I hear Gabrielle and I'm like, what? Anyway,
yeah,
it's all is good. We're just troubadours, and I think that's what we have to remember, is that we are singing the high notes, the harmonics for this new era, and we're embodying that, and that's what we're meant to do.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, this has been great. I thoroughly thank you for coming and sharing your ascension wisdom with me and everybody that's going to listen to this. And I know it's going to make a big impact. So
Thank you.
thank you, dear sister, for coming.
You're
And
welcome.
And I will leave it at that. And everyone, please, I'm going to leave Gabriel's information in the actual description. Gabriel, can you give my listeners some information how they could get a hold of you? Would you like to share?
GabrielleSpencer.com is my website. There are free MP3s there that you can access to assist you for forgiveness on these deep quantum levels and various other things and programs that I do, and also a way to contact me directly. So I hope
Wonderful,
from you.
wonderful, wonderful. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Gabriel, and namaste. And I'm so glad for everybody that listened to this. And keep shining your light, everyone. Stay out of that fear. It's all about being that beacon and stand in your divineness because you are magnificent. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye now.
Bye, everyone.
Are you ready to ascend to new heights of consciousness? Are you ready to live your Ascension Wisdom Mastery? Dive into the Galactic Ascension Academy, where cosmic wisdom meets spiritual evolution. Unlock premium courses with like-minded seekers. Join a community of awakened souls and experience monthly group healing sessions. Elevate your journey with Star Mother's activations, teachings, and meditations. Join the Galactic Ascension Academy today and awaken the Stardust DNA within you. Your cosmic journey starts now.